All right, what's up, John? What were you saying? Yeah, summertime.
Yeah, I was saying I'm enjoying my summer relatively,
Except.
except you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You gave me the book The Wretched of the Earth to read
I did. You're welcome for that.
by Franz Fanon.
Yeah.
Dude, I respect you. I'm going to read the book
Good.
out of respect, and I am interested. But this
You
is
should respect Franz Fanon.
Yeah, I respect Franz Fanon.
All right, good.
But this is some heavy reading for the summer,
Yeah,
dude.
no shit, dude.
And also, it's
When
like,
have we ever assigned each other not heavy stuff to read and watch?
well, I guess, but I mean, I haven't assigned you anything in a while. There's 2 documentaries I wanted you to watch. You still haven't watched, in all fairness.
I haven't watched the China nuclear power thing. I will. My bad.
You didn't watch the China thing about thorium, but a different type of nuclear energy that can't easily be enriched for weapons.
No, I didn't watch the Chinese thorium thing about nuclear energy that doesn't have to be weapons.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, right?
I'll
Thorium,
watch it.
molten salt water reactors.
Sounds crazy.
And also, it's like, yes, this book is amazingly written, but it's like, yeah, colonization is bad.
Yeah.
So
It is particularly intense.
It's really intense. Like, listen, I'm just gonna read a little bit.
Sure, go ahead.
By the way, everybody should read this, but just not me in the summer.
Yeah.
It's the violence which governed the ordering of the colonial world, which tirelessly punctuated the destruction of the indigenous social fabric and demolished unchecked the systems of reference of the country's economy, lifestyles, and modes of dress. This same violence will be vindicated and appropriated when, taking history into their own hands, the colonized swarm into the forbidden cities. Oh my God, dude.
Bro.
Dude,
That's awesome. It's fucking bars, dude.
Dude, the sun is shining. There's families walking down the street. People are at barbecues.
Hey,
I'm
go.
sitting in my room
You
reading.
can do both. Go do a cannonball and come back out, and while you're drying off,
Dude.
read about the colonized people of the world getting their vengeance.
Fair enough. But we're in the Imperial Core. We are.
Yeah, we're
you
the
know,
bad guys.
We're the bad guy. We're the baddies.
We're the bad guys.
In all fairness, the first book I ever gave you to read is entitled 9/11 by Noam Chomsky. Right?
Oh yeah. Well, you didn't give me that to read, but we
Oh,
both
yeah.
loved that book.
Okay. I thought I told
Which
you
says a
about
lot
that.
about us and our friendship.
I thought I told you about that book.
No, you brought it up because you watched me do stand-up about 9/11, and then you brought up that book, and I was like, I love that book, and you were like, obviously.
Yeah.
And,
Well, next book that I give you is going to be a real bummer. I don't know what it is
Can't
yet,
wait.
but it's going to
Can't
be
wait.
heavy. Yeah.
I'm sure it will be. All right, let's start the show.
Okay, thanks for having me.
Welcome, listeners. Some loyal listeners with perceptive ears might have noticed a subtle difference in my co-host, Ashton Womack, in that he is John F. O'Donnell. Ashton's out of town, and I was so happy to have on one of my favorite people, second time filling in, doing our show. John F. O'Donnell, former correspondent on Redacted Tonight. Amazing show, unbiased opinion I have there. And just all around hilarious, smart guy, and a good friend of mine. John, welcome to the show.
Jaffer, thanks so much for having me. What a cool opportunity to do the show again. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate you being here. Sorry about Wretched of the Earth. So we're going to start with our little headline roundup we do every week. Give y'all a little fast little snapshot of everything we allow the police to do to us on a weekly basis. So this was this week, starting with cops in Birmingham, Alabama, fatally shoot a teenager in the back. R.I.P. Jabari Peoples.
Immigration cops continue to cause the deaths of migrants in their custody. Rest in peace, Johnny Noviejo and Isidro Perez.
Cops in Utica, New York are facing a lawsuit for fatally shooting a 13-year-old boy in the chest. R.I.P. Naya Miwe.
Cop in Phoenix who pled guilty to sexually abusing a teenager has been rehired by Phoenix police.
Cop in Lee County, Florida, arrested for soliciting a 14-year-old girl.
Cop in Baltimore charged with sexually assaulting a 16-year-old girl.
Cop in Boston charged with sexually assaulting a 14-year-old girl.
Cop in Frederick, Maryland charged with possession of child sex abuse material.
Cop in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, charged with assaulting an infant.
Cop in Greenville, South Carolina, arrested for domestic violence.
Cop in Laredo, Texas, arrested for domestic violence.
Cop in Chelsea, Massachusetts, charged with domestic violence.
Cop in Woodstock, Georgia, is fired for assaulting a woman during her arrest.
Cops in Orange County, California, are facing a lawsuit for ripping women's hijabs off of their heads and stomping on them.
Cop in Brooklyn, Ohio, who hit someone with his car, physically assaulted him, and then drove off, will not be facing any charges.
Cops in Akron, Ohio, are facing a lawsuit for dragging a man out of his car and repeatedly punching him in the face.
Cop in West Jordan, Utah, arrested for drinking, driving, and road rage.
Cop in Cheatham, Tennessee, is charged with strangling a motorist after a crash.
Cops in Chicago run a stop sign, hit a car, and then cite the driver they hit for driving without insurance.
Cop in Kansas City, Missouri, shoots a dog.
Cop in Buffalo, New York, shoots a dog.
Cops in North Carolina are facing a lawsuit for searching for a black female suspect, arresting the wrong woman, jailing her, and causing her to lose her job and have her home foreclosed.
Cops in Delaware arrest an entire family at gunpoint, including the children, after incorrectly running the registration and falsely accusing the mother of stealing her own car.
Cop in Windsor, Connecticut, is arrested for accidentally shooting at someone after mistaking his gun for a taser.
Immigration cops continue to disappear migrants and citizens, ripping families apart and terrorizing communities all over the country. So that was last week.
Wow, dude. Cops be fucking up and be fucking evil.
Yeah, man. It's insane. This first one, Jabari Peoples is the one that is currently, the story is currently unfolding. Birmingham, Alabama, a kid was killed. There's disputing stories whether or not he had a gun, where exactly he was shot. They haven't released the body cam footage yet, so really we don't have much information on it yet. That's kind of how these stories go, and that's kind of something that the police can sort of, they like to weaponize us, like not knowing anything. But yeah, just honestly regular week of murder and mayhem and perverted cops running amok. And
standard operating procedure for the cops.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe we'll talk more about Jabari Peoples maybe next week. Hopefully we'll get some more information on that. But what are we talking about today? Well, in our main episode, we'll be talking about a cop in prison and his exciting new online dating life. Cops getting busted using AI-enhanced photos of their drug bust. Citizens in LA using Ring cameras to fight back against ICE. And Trump finally, because he's been trying to do this for a while now, being able to deport migrants to South Sudan.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And in the here's our Patreon preview. And in our Patreon bonus episode, we'll be discussing more immigration-related chaos, including the National Guard being deputized as immigration judges in Florida, the National Guard doing drug busts in California, and more.
Yes, so sign up for our Patreon. It's just $5 a month. Gets you pretty much 4 bonus episodes a month. We appreciate your support. Anyways, let's get started. John, I'm glad you're here because we do got a couple fun stories this week. Thank God, because last week's episode was brutal. So thank you, police, for being funny a couple times in the midst of all the hell you unleash upon us.
All your twisted bullshit.
On a consistent and weekly basis. Yeah, so we'll be going to Staten Island, New York, and reading from an article called SI Live, Staten Island Live. That's the name of the publication. And shout out to this article, because it's rare that like I'll read like pretty much just an entire article from top to bottom, but that's pretty much what we're gonna do with this article, because there's just a lot of heat packed into this. It's headlined, "After Parole Denial in Staten Island Crash That Killed Two, Ex-New Jersey Cop is Looking for Love Online."
Ooh la la.
Yeah. So in May, the New York State Parole Board denied early release for Pedro Abad, a former Linden, New Jersey police officer serving time for a drunk driving crash that killed two of his passengers on Staten Island. Weeks after the board's decision, Abad appeared on an online dating site seeking female companionship. Quote, "I'm a loving, giving, selfless man, always supporting women's rights," read part of his profile. "I promise, senorita, age does not matter."
Hey, this guy's pro-choice and not ageist. Not bad.
Yeah, dude. You got to clarify what you mean by age does not matter, especially when you're currently in prison. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm a prison abolitionist here, and I don't want to shit on people in prison, but I'm just saying that if you are in prison and you're making a dating profile and you're talking about age not mattering in all caps, maybe clarify which end of the spectrum you're talking about here.
That's a very fair point.
This guy, he's like, why does my parole keep getting denied? I don't get it. Why won't they let me back out? Why won't they let me loose on the public? Age does not matter.
Age doesn't matter along the entire spectrum. Don't ask any more questions.
Yeah, dude. And the all caps, the senorita, there's just so much spiciness to this guy's dating profile. And this article, which I love the back and forth between the that's pretty funny, and then oh shit. And that's what we're going to do right now. Reading this article, it says, "I promise, senorita, age does not matter." During Abad's trial in 2017, prosecutors said he and his passengers had been drinking at Curve's Gentleman Club in Charleston prior to the wrong-way crash on the West Shore Expressway. Abad had two previous drunken driving arrests before that night. Two passengers in Abad's car, Linden police officer Frank Vigiano and civilian Joseph Rodriguez, both 28, died of their injuries. Abad and another passenger, Linden police officer Patrick Kudlak, 24, were badly hurt. Abad was sentenced to the maximum allowed prison term of 8 1/3 to 25 years in prison. He's eligible for parole again in May 2027.
Okay.
So this is kind of an interesting thing here, where it's like we're constantly, especially if you just like rewind a little bit to our headline roundup, cops are always drinking and driving and hitting people and pretty much largely getting away with it. The charges are always dropped. The sentencing is always reduced. Charges never filed in the first place. But in this case, we see a cop, they're pursuing the maximum amount of prison time, and that's a lesson for all you cops. If you want to get away with killing people, just make sure the people you kill are not also cops.
That's the issue.
That's the
right
one.
there.
That's just the one thing you got to make sure you don't do when you're trying to get away with your violent crimes.
Yeah, when you have multiple drunk driving charges against you, just don't take out other cops.
Exactly.
And you'll be all right. Just to back up a little bit, I think he really does respect women's rights, because they went.
That's my favorite part too. Yeah, love women's rights, y'all.
He was at Curve's Gentleman Club, supporting women one lap dance at a time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Support women's rights.
Yeah, this guy, he's like legalized sex work. Am I right, y'all?
Yeah. He's an ally.
Yeah. The dating site Pen-A-Con, so Pen-A-Con, aims to, quote, help those within the incarcerated community gain friendship and make romantic connections around the world. Whether you're looking for a new friend to connect with or want to stay in touch with an imprisoned loved one, you've come to the right place. Browse the site for personal ads, pictures, and profiles of inmates to find your pen pal today. And again, I want to make it very clear. I support this app. People incarcerated, they're still human beings. They should be able to pursue human connection. I just think this particular case is hilarious of this cop's dating profile. Any age will do in all caps while he's in prison, and just the amount of senoritas tickles me as well.
I do think that's where the app uses the turn of phrase, the incarcerated community.
Yeah.
That's kind of a weird way to put it.
Sure, yeah. I mean, look, it is a community.
I guess it is a community.
It's their neighbors, whether they like it or not.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
And so let's just go further in this guy's profile. Abad's profile includes a photo and a bio explaining his background, his conviction, and what he has to offer a woman as a friend or romantic partner. Quote, "So I've been locked up for almost 10 years, and I was just denied my first parole board. I was hoping to go home, but I guess God said, not yet."
I love this.
Me too.
With a bunch of O's, like being all casual about the vehicular manslaughter.
Yeah.
So, no biggie, whatevs. I've been locked up for the past 10 years.
Yeah, long story short. So, I bet you're wondering how I got here right now. The judge blamed me, but I blame my drug dealer at the strip club who sold me cocaine so weak it didn't even sober me up before I drove home.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, dude. Selling cocaine that week should be a crime. The profile goes on, quote, "Whether it's for friendship or romance, I promise you, senorita, age does not matter. I love to cook, dance, and work out. Although I'm a skilled fighter, winning trophies in karate, kickboxing, and taekwondo, my true passion is fighting for those I love."
That's poetic.
It is look, I'm honestly, it's giving I like long walks on the beach type of a dating profile, It's just not very modern,
No.
Make it funny, make it quirky, do something different.
Yeah.
He explains he was a former police officer and he currently is a certified paralegal and he plans to become a lawyer. Quote, "Working in the law library for years in prison, I assisted many people with court motions. Long story short, I shouldn't be alive. God saved me for a reason, so I strive to be a better person. Not only to be the man God created me to be, but to find the right woman."
Now, this found God thing, it's like it saved him for a reason, so by that rationale, God let the other people die for a reason?
Yeah, it's tricky, the God stuff, Look, I'm not a big religious guy myself, but I'm not, if you believe it is what it is. And, people find God in prison, which makes sense.
And if it is if it's helpful, I don't have something better.
Yeah. And I'll just say this, look, it's great to be godly. I would say it's also pretty easy to resist temptation of sin while you are locked up in prison. Meanwhile, what was he doing outside prison?
Yeah.
Hanging out at the gentlemen's clubs? What does God say about that? Drinking, driving, getting behind the wheel, killing your friends. And now he's in prison and he's like, I love God. God guided me into your heart.
I love God because I have to.
Yeah, swipe right on God.
Swipe right on me and God. I'm alive for a reason. Yeah. And it's to meet senoritas of all ages.
Yeah. Quote, go back to the profile. "I go to the gym daily to sweat out the pain of not being home because right now my ma is all I got. I'm a loving, giving, selfless man, always supporting women's rights. I promise, senorita, age does not matter. Bezos, and God bless you." So, again, I don't know how if there's ever been a I love women's rights that close to age does not matter in a relationship.
I really wish he expanded upon what he meant by women's rights.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
It sounds like it's just not a good dating profile. It reads as desperate. The women's rights there, dude, like you're fucking white knighting on the dating apps. Don't do that.
I mean, it's going to be hard not to come across as a bit desperate if you're in prison trying.
Fair. You could argue he is desperate in a real sense.
Yeah.
I'd be desperate too.
He's in a tough spot. I mean, he's in a tough spot.
Yeah.
He deserves it.
Yeah. Look, I'm all about prison abolition, but I think if you're a cop who's in prison, if you were on the front lines like of the empire, and now you've found yourself on the other side of that, I'm gonna make fun of it a little bit. That's it. That's it.
I think it's fair to have a bit less sympathy for that. Yeah.
Maybe I wouldn't even go that far. Yeah. Maybe I have sympathy for anyone locked up in prison. But I think generally our prison industrial complex, nothing funny about it, generally. But every now and then, it is funny, especially if you're a cop from Staten Island who fucking got drunk at a strip club with your cop buddies and then now you're in prison and you got a little dating profile. That's hilarious to me. Your dating profile says age doesn't matter. You're in prison. Fix that. Fix that. You got women's rights on your dating profile. You could do better than that. Try harder. Are you really that desperate? Because you could be trying a little bit harder on your dating profile. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah,
a little bit of a critique on the profile.
I think that's fair.
At Abad's 2017 sentencing hearing in State Supreme Court, St. George, the sister of a man killed in the crash said her family was devastated. Quote, "This crash was 100% preventable. I will never forgive you. You killed my brother. I hate you. I don't care what happens to you. I actually hope you die before you are released." Holy shit.
Yeah.
She also took a swipe at Abad's prior comments to the media in which he had spoken to God. "I also spoke to God, and he told me what the plan was. He said, you're going straight to hell." Damn. Kind of bars on her as well. Abad also addressed the court in a rambling 30-minute statement. He swore he couldn't remember the events that claimed the lives of two passengers. He apologized to the victims' families, assured them their loved ones are happy in heaven. Holy shit. Complimented prosecutors and the media on their work and invoked God's name. He also suggested the victims should have taken an Uber home instead of getting into his car.
The old should have taken an Uber defense.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, I mean, it's really their fault that they're dead, and they are happy they're dead, that they're in heaven. So, you're welcome for putting them in heaven, but also it's not my fault, it's their fault. So they should really be thanking themselves for not getting an Uber, and now they're happy in heaven. This is honestly one of the craziest paragraphs I've read in my life.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good, solid victim blame during a parole hearing. It's probably a good idea.
Yeah. Why does his parole keep getting rejected? What the hell's going on? What's wrong with our prison industrial I'm starting to realize it because there's something wrong with our system we have here.
Yeah, I mean, he respects women's rights.
Yeah. What more do you want?
He's open to women of all ages.
All ages.
He's spoken to God.
Yeah.
They're lucky they're in heaven, and they should have taken an Uber. Let this man go free.
Yeah. He's a senorita's man. Quote, "You almost had me," said Justice Mario F. Matai, which, first of all, you almost had me. That's hilarious. I was this close to letting you walk free. I love you, bro. You know that, right? "You almost had me," said Justice Mario F. Matai before handing down the sentence. "But then you tell me they should have called Uber."
Oh, no.
He's like, strike one. They shouldn't have gone into your car. That's what you're telling me. You weren't an accident waiting to happen. You were a time bomb waiting to explode. Wow, a lot of great penmanship by these people that are angry at him. You have no idea of the magnitude of what you did.
Yeah, it seems like he still hasn't really truly kind of acknowledged or wrap his head around the fact that he took these lives.
Yeah, he seems like kind of just a fucking moron, to be honest.
He does. He seems kind of dumb.
Seems kind of empty-headed.
Because he says, it's like, I shouldn't be alive, you know, like, he doesn't.
It's an uncreative dating profile.
Yeah.
That's first sign. And just like during your sentencing hearing, you're saying that
Should have taken an Uber.
The whole point, like you're standing in front of the judge. It's like literally your motivation right now is to be sympathetic towards this judge who your life is in his hands right now. Like it's sentencing. So you've already been convicted. Now this judge is going to decide what your punishment is.
Yeah.
You have to be a sympathetic figure. You can't be going on a rambling half-hour speech about how the victims are happy that they're in heaven and they should have called an Uber in the first place.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I think something that's telling is when he says in his dating profile, I go to the gym daily to sweat out the pain of not being home.
Yeah.
Compared to saying to sweat out the pain of, you know, killing multiple people.
True.
Due to reckless behavior.
That's a great point.
You know?
You would be good at getting parole.
You
would be great at
being conciliatory.
Being sympathetic, being a sympathetic figure. I would be too.
Well, I've fucked up so much in my life that I've had a lot of practice, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're an empathetic guy. You know, you're a good listener. You know, I feel that those are great qualities in
thank you,
getting
Jaffer.
Parole.
Thank you, Jaffer. I am a good listener. I take pride in that.
Yeah.
But sometimes there's some really vampirous people that'll just talk at you, you know, and they know if they got their hands on a good listener.
Oh yeah,
Ooh.
Those people, they should be locked up.
They should
deny
be
them
up.
parole.
Deny them parole all day long. They're emotionally draining me.
Yeah, along with this motherfucker and everyone else who advocates for women's rights.
Yeah. I respect women's rights of all ages.
Yeah, bro. You gotta specify the age thing. You just
especially
have to.
in prison, man.
When you're in prison, I'm sorry.
Yeah. But especially if you're a cop, with all these headlines we read of cops abusing underage.
Yeah.
You know.
But people don't know that's not a stereotype for cops yet. But if there's one clear mission goal of this podcast is to make that a stereotype for cops. Fuck the donuts. We're beyond donuts. Donuts, you know, that was long ago.
Let them fuck the donuts.
Pedos, yeah, dude. Yeah.
Fuck the donuts.
Fuck the donuts.
Not the kids.
Yeah, exactly. That's the message here. Anyway, that's a good moment to to move on from that story. So shout out that cop in prison with his dating life, and obviously this, you know, it's all the circumstances surrounding the story are very tragic. So
yeah, very tragic.
So I will, acknowledge that, but that's sort of what this podcast is a lot, unfortunately. But
I agree with you. Broadly speaking, I do support the Pentagon program.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, so many people, wrongly incarcerated.
Yeah. Exactly.
Let people make connections.
Exactly. Wrongly by being like falsely incarcerated, and wrongly because they broke a dumbass law about like smoking weed or something, and now they're regardless of what you did. I mean, the prison system is fucking hell. It's torturous. It's torturous.
Yeah.
Even if you are guilty, I don't know if that's a humane punishment to be in this fucking torturous underbelly of the United States and like basically being in slave conditions.
I mean, it's not rehabilitative.
Not
it's
at all.
punitive.
Yeah.
And it's mean-spirited. It's not about rehabilitating somebody to be able to re-enter society.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Strong agree.
You came on the right podcast.
I'm not getting pushback about that.
Yeah.
Should we go on?
Let's go on. Yeah. Next. Yeah. You got the next article from Forbes magazine.
Yeah. Neighbors, an app for Ring doorbell users, is typically used by people looking for lost pets or missing packages. But last week, horrified by ICE raids in and around Los Angeles, residents started using the Amazon app to alert their communities to immigration agents carrying out searches and arrests. Quote, it was very grassroots, and it became a tool being used by people just trying to help keep neighbors safe, said Nick, a Southern California resident whose name isn't being published to protect her safety. Okay.
Yeah.
This is some resourceful shit. This is some pushback, you know?
It is. And it's interesting because it's like it's become a theme inadvertently on our podcast how much we talk about the surveillance state because it's like we've had these sort of disparate, like separate privacy invasions that we have. I don't want to say allowed because it's not like we had much choice in the matter. The data brokerage is my favorite example of like of what I'm trying to illustrate, of just like Facebook, Instagram scraping our data, and that data is just sold on these data brokerage websites, commercially available to anyone. And one of the most frequent customers is the CIA. Right. And to me, that shows what I'm trying to say, of just like all this privacy violations. Now the state can wield them in ways against us. But here we have an example of the people wielding the privacy violations, people wielding our self-imposed surveillance state to fight back against the state.
Yes, surveilling the surveillors.
Oh, yeah.
It's wild.
It is
There's
wild.
so much surveillance in the United States that there's like largesse. There's like excess surveillance that the surveilled can use to push back.
Yeah.
It's wild.
It reminds me of an article like a few years ago. I talked about this when I was on Redacted.
Yeah.
But CIA literal spies have complained, find it hard to do their job because of the surveillance state all over the place. Like everywhere you go around just any city, you are being recorded on camera, whether it's security cameras outside businesses that are privately owned, or like license plate reader cameras that are set up by the police on every intersection, ring light cameras that are owned by residences. And it's like that footage is out there, and it can be commandeered, and police commandeer it, ICE commandeer it, but here we have the people commandeering it. And I have fun imagining like literal like Homeland Security agents being like, guys, don't you think the surveillance state has gone too far? I mean, when you think about it, it's kind of fucked up that they just know where we're going at all times. Like we have no sense of privacy. Like what kind of dystopian world is this?
Yeah.
Has anyone stopped to think about this?
This is a real issue.
What the hell's going on here?
Does the CIA have issue with all of the surveillance because they can't pinpoint what they want to find? Is that part of it?
No, it's because they can't go and be a secret spy anywhere.
Oh.
They can't go and be untraced. They can't make a fake alias because every real person today has like a digital footprint that goes back years and years now. So creating a fake alias now is extremely difficult. To physically move around places unseen is impossible with all these things recording us everywhere. Having a fake identity because of biometrics now is impossible because people can just like that know whether you're lying about your identity. So like spycraft is like it's not what it used to be. It's not like a Bond movie anymore. And if you're in a ICE white supremacist militia going around trying to kidnap Latinos people is getting hard now as well. Yeah, dude. Yeah.
So you're telling me the fake ID I had in high school in the 90s wouldn't fly today, so I couldn't buy booze underage?
Yeah, probably not, bro.
Damn.
It sucks. Yeah.
It's all right. I went into the city and I got it. It was from the state of New Hampshire.
Yeah.
I made my name Seamus for some reason because I thought that'd be funny.
Because you're Irish and you
love
it.
my Irish shit. I love my Irish
There's no
shit.
denying it.
You know what I mean? Do you know Irish people were colonized and brutalized by the British for over 800 years?
Yeah, I know.
Huh?
Yeah, and then they moved here and became cops. So we'll call it even.
That's so true.
Yeah. 800 years of collective suffering wiped away a couple generations of cops beating the shit out of black people in America.
I don't like to bring up that part.
Yeah.
800 years, Joffer.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's very true.
Yeah. That's so funny. Dude. Should we keep going?
Yeah.
While social media sites and Nextdoor have been used to highlight ICE activity across the U.S. in recent days, Neighbors has been especially popular with dozens of posts reviewed by Forbes over the last week. It allows anyone to post on safety issues in their locale, and users can choose to include footage from their Ring doorbell cameras where relevant. As one community activist wrote on Facebook, quote, Ring camera is saving so many families' lives and proving citizens are being harassed and beat up. Wow. Neighbors users remained vigilant in posts reviewed by Forbes over the last week, which featured photos and videos of ICE agents, including their locations, and in numerous cases, their vehicle type. Some posts had information on ICE agents near stores like Dollar Tree, McDonald's, Starbucks, and Target. 2 alerted communities to ICE operations nearby elementary schools. Others claimed that construction workers were being apprehended at sites across LA, including a Home Depot, in a June 10th post that was subsequently deleted. The LA protest began after immigration agents were spotted near a Home Depot in Paramount, though there was no actual raid at the store. Many of these alerts feature the ice cube emoji as shorthand for immigration officials.
Crazy. Just crazy reading the details of what it's like, just a reminder of what's going on. They are raiding elementary schools. They are raiding places of work. All that whole pretense of we're going after criminals is like completely out the window. It's in the forefront what they're doing. But I want to mention that like Amazon, the Ring camera does have like a little interesting history of like who gets to wield this surveillance tool because, and the article mentions it further down, but yeah, Amazon has not always been the hero of the people, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to their Ring cameras, because this was a problem for years. Last year, they finally stopped doing this, but KAWPS were taking the Ring, the doorbell, the footage, and using it as evidence. And basically, what that does is that it allows them, it like circumvents our Fourth Amendment rights. Like it allows them without a warrant to gain access to monitoring, our private lives. And it was happening on a consistent basis. And there was like the argument that like, well, the police ask people for this footage, and that's kind of a flimsy argument because a lot of times, they're taking the footage from one person's house that's getting like someone else, in trouble for wherever it is they were doing. But regardless of that, Amazon had given like police like this ability to like press like this, like do like some like emergency, quote unquote, like emergency, like commandeering of, and then it's like, how do you define emergency? Oh, cops get to do that. And so after some pushback, that has finally very recently been taken away. And now we're seeing the flip side where the people are using it against agents of the state. Yeah. But all that to say, let's not all of a sudden start celebrating Amazon as the heroes we need.
No, I was going to say this is the best thing Amazon has done since free 2-day shipping has destroyed the middle class and destroyed all sorts of mom and pop businesses. Who knew we'd be willing to flush the American middle class down the toilet for free shipping?
Yeah. I don't know. I honestly trusted this guy who looks like Lex Luthor to commandeer the infrastructure of the United States.
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. The flurry of posts viewed by Forbes over the last week pose a dilemma for the Amazon-owned company. Ring prohibits any posts likely to inflame tensions between users, including those discussing politics and, quote, highly debated social issues. A Ring spokesperson said those rules haven't changed, declining to provide further comment. ICE didn't respond to requests for comments. Okay.
Wouldn't want to inflame tensions.
Yeah.
Couldn't imagine anything worse than tensions being inflamed during this what's going on in our country right now.
Yeah. With mass kidnapping and deportation and abuse.
We don't want anything awkward to happen.
Yeah, we don't want any tensions. We don't want any. What did they say? We don't want to debate any social issues.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay. It appears Amazon is actively moderating posts about the ICE raids. A number that had warned of ICE presence across LA last week appears to have been removed.
Damn.
They included a warning about imminent raids at thrift stores in the city and another about ICE presence at a public community college in Lancaster, California. Another user who asked to remain anonymous said the posts were, quote, 70% helpful and 30% vague or fake. Quote, I worry about people posting just to scare people, they told Forbes.
Yeah, I mean, and that's an interesting factor as well of just like, you know, the chaos of all of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course, Amazon is moderating these posts, you know, which that's hilarious. Guys, I think I'm shadow banned on my doorbell app. I keep getting censored on Ring, dude. This is fucked up, dude. That's not right.
That's hilarious.
I'm losing followers.
I'm losing my Ring followers. I'm shadow banned in my own home.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so funny. Yeah. I was hoping to go viral on Ring.
Yeah, dude.
Okay. There are good reasons to be careful when posting on Neighbors or Nextdoor. While Ring did remove a feature where police could request doorbell camera footage through the Neighbors app last year, police can obtain information on users with a court order. Search warrants and subpoenas could be used to demand data from any business with information on those protesting ICE's actions. So they have to get a court order now, but they can still get access to that information.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we're seeing, and it's not just the Ring camera. We're seeing and it's all fueled by what ICE is doing right now. Like a people's whatever you want to call it, counter surveillance state.
Yeah.
Because we got the Ring cameras being commandeered. We got apps like Block ICE. Did you see that?
No.
So this guy made an app to track ICE, keep eyes on them, for the people to use. And it was funny because he got interviewed on CNN. And then so like the Trump administration like completely lashed out at
I saw
we're
that.
gonna arrest CNN.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
CNN's going to jail for a long time for having this guy come on talking about his app.
Yeah.
There's a website called fucklapd.com, and it's a website to use facial recognition on the police because they're hiding their badges. There's one for ICE as well, but from what I read, he needs to update. It's not working as well. It's the cop one, but the plan is to have one for ICE. But ICE is already, using those face masks. So it's almost like a new era of The Wire. I don't know if you ever watched The Wire.
I did.
That's kind of what it's centered around. Was okay, this new technology of wiretapping.
Yeah.
And sort of the chess game going back and forth. And now we have all this surveillance state, much beyond wiretapping, that we're seeing this sort of chess game go back and forth as well.
That's wild.
It is.
And yeah, I understand, police officers, ICE agents covering their badges, covering their faces. I mean, what a shameful thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're just breaking up families and deporting people.
Yeah, and these ICE, God knows where they're coming from. Trump keeps upping the number, thousands more, and then these people sign up and just get deputized immediately to just kidnap people. It's truly insane. What is going on? But we got more horrifying.
Let's plow ahead.
News revolving around our deportation.
Oh, this is fucked up.
Deportation of migrants, yes. So I'll be reading from CBS, and this is a little bit. Me and Ashton covered an earlier stage of this ongoing story, but sadly, Trump got his way. So the article is titled "U.S. Deports Men from Asia and Latin America with Criminal Records to South Sudan After Legal Saga." The Trump administration said it deported a group of 8 men convicted of serious crimes in the U.S. to the conflict-ridden African country of South Sudan following a weeks-long legal saga that had kept the deportees in a military base in Djibouti for weeks. Assistant Department of Homeland Security Secretary Tricia McLaughlin said the deportation flight carrying the deportees landed in South Sudan just before midnight on Friday. So me and Ashton were covering this a few weeks ago because these people, as they were being flown to South Sudan, and we're seeing this constantly, federal courts coming in and doing like what's the fucking word? Injunctions.
Yeah.
To try to halt Trump's executive orders that they find to be unconstitutional. And then these injunctions will literally happen while these deportees are in the sky. And so now it's like this legal limbo. And so they ended up in Djibouti, which we have a base in Djibouti. Don't ask any questions there. But these deportees were literally being kept in shipping containers. That is the level of quality care we're providing for these people. Talk about humanity, let alone due process. They were in fucking shipping containers, and so that was them in limbo while the Trump administration was trying to get ahead of these judges. So now the Trump administration has succeeded and gotten them out of those containers, and now they're in fucking South Sudan.
This is crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, the Trump administration is just like full of supervillains, just thinking of more twisted things to do to people.
It's literally, it is the level of cruelty behind it, like unnecessary cruelty. Like South Sudan, like what is this, a bit that you're doing?
Yeah.
Like the country we hear in the news. Yeah, it's Sudan is where the actual civil war is happening right now. A lot of people say it's easily in different metrics the largest humanitarian crisis currently happening in the world, but South Sudan being right under it clearly is affected by it, and South Sudan has never been on good 2 feet, largely because of the U.S. I mean, I don't know how much a Redacted Tonight world we want to go with this story, but
the Clinton administration
exactly
bombing the pharmaceutical plants, getting rid of half of their medicine,
exactly, and just the South Sudan is pushed to being created in the first place because U.S. interest in the oil. The oil is in the south of Sudan. It's not up in Sudan, North Sudan, and so for decades the CIA was doing their little whatever. I don't have the expertise to go into details, but I can confidently, broadly say the CIA has been fucking with the southern Sudan to try to create tensions and conflict to create the South Sudan so they could easily commandeer the oil down there. And just a classic case of us, the West, deporting the refugees that we created in the first place back to their homes that we've destroyed. And you know what? Let me interrupt myself. That's not even this. These motherfuckers are not from the Sudan. These are people from Asia, from Latin America. They don't speak the language. They've never been there before in their lives. They're at a place that has a government that's, just trying to survive. And cruelty is the point, as they say. So the deportations to South, I'm back reading this from this article. The deportations to South Sudan, a country plagued by armed conflict and political instability that the U.S. government warns Americans not to visit, marks an unprecedented new frontier in President Trump's government-wide crackdown on illegal immigration. None of the deportees is from South Sudan. They hail from Cuba, Mexico, Laos, Myanmar, Sudan, and Vietnam, and were ordered deported from the U.S. after being convicted of crimes, including murder, homicide, sexual assault, lascivious acts with a child, and robbery. So, obviously this article being, mainstream media, like they're going to point out that these are criminals who've been convicted of the crimes. But the obvious thing to point out to that is that, yeah, they were convicted and they served their time. They have been punished by the state for their crimes on society. So this is not warranted at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, it's just straight up cruelty. The high-profile legal battle over the fate of the men culminated when 2 federal judges on Friday denied a last-ditch attempt by immigration rights advocates to halt deportations, saying their hands were tied by recent orders from the U.S. Supreme Court. And this, the Supreme Court, again, I'm not an expert, just like I'm not an expert on the South Sudan, not an expert on the law, but I think they're referring to the Supreme Court recently made a decision on these injunctions and basically gave the federal courts less power, less of an ability to do these injunctions to block the
deportations.
Yes, to block Trump's executive orders.
Yeah, okay,
These deportations. So it was a huge gift to the Trump administration.
Yeah.
So I believe that's what they're referring to here. The deportations signify a major political victory for the Trump administration, which has sought to convince countries around the world, irrespective of their human rights record, to accept deportees who are not their citizens, including those convicted of serious crimes.
What are these countries getting in return?
Oh, they're getting so much. I mean, the U.S., we got leverage over the whole world, you know? So it's whatever they fucking need. South Sudan definitely needs a lot. Here's like so much we could give the South Sudan. Whatever it is, quid pro
quo,
whatever. Look, I'm not a Latin expert over here, but it's easy to imagine how the America could give a country something. You know what I mean?
I'm just curious of what it is.
What it would be, same. Quote, a district judge cannot dictate the national security and foreign policy of the United States of America. So this is, again, referring to the Supreme Court's decision. Said McLaughlin, the DHS spokeswoman, this Independence Day marks another victory for the safety and security of American people. So this is just like completely vile framing of this. She's saying no longer can a district judge dictate the national security and foreign policy of the United States. Like as if migrants within the U.S. is a national security foreign policy issue that these federal that these judges are weighing in on. First of all, I think because it's federal, like doesn't foreign policy fit under federal? But beyond that, this does not need to be foreign policy at all. These are migrants within the U.S.
Yeah.
You're making it foreign policy by fucking sending them to South Sudan.
Yeah. I mean, it's such an erosion of the separation of powers. It's fucked up.
Yeah. I hate being one of those motherfuckers defending the damn Constitution, defending this country that I love, but you're not allowed to do this.
Yeah, that's the thing.
All I'm saying is you're not allowed to do this. And to call it foreign policy, they're foreign, ain't they? These foreign sounds like foreign policy to me, getting the damn foreigners out of our country. God damn. It's unclear exactly how the deportees will be treated in South Sudan. Yeah, no shit. A Justice Department attorney told a federal judge Friday that South Sudan informed the U.S. it would offer the men a temporary immigration status, but the lawyer could not confirm whether they would be detained. The Trump administration has said in court filings that South Sudanese officials have made assurances that the deportees will not face torture. So this is fucking absurd.
This is crazy.
It is insane.
Hey, well, at least no torture, huh? That's something.
That's what they said. That's what they said. Hey, they said no torture.
They said, we specifically said no torture?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the kind of thing where it's like, oh, so torture was on the table?
Exactly. Wait, I was going to get tortured? Hold on. Yeah.
This is crazy, man.
It is. What the fuck is going on? We're just like, so we're just, what's the word I'm looking for? When you send a job overseas.
Yeah.
What's that word?
Well,
Fuck.
not exporting jobs.
Outsourcing. Thank you, Quincy. Yeah. So we're just outsourcing our fucking concentration camps to all over the world. Any continent will do. And again, not completely, which is like this is kind of the constant tune with Trump, which is like it's not completely new what he's doing. He's doing it in a new excess. It's obviously a terrible emergency what's happening. But I mean, we've used Guantanamo Bay to house refugees before. That was Bush Sr., that was Clinton who did that. We have the infrastructure all over the world. We've set up bases to maintain our, capitalistic hegemony all over the fucking world, all over all these fucking bases. So yeah, we have the infrastructure there. We can keep detainees in Djibouti, but why not fucking send them to South Sudan? I guess, like, fuck.
Yeah,
this is insane.
It's just like ramping up. It's a progression.
Yeah,
it's just more clear and present, and just more. The scope is getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah. It just seems like a lot of the Trump administration is just like, let's just keep going full throttle. This is Trump 2.0. Yeah. So it's like let's just see what we can get away with and do it. And they're fucking they're getting away with it. It's bad.
And it's crazy. There's still like regular Americans that support it still.
Yeah.
That's
well,
crazy. It's
easy to sell security fears to people.
Yeah.
We're getting rid of the criminals.
Yeah.
These are bad. These are don't worry, these are bad people. And again, if it is hard to believe that people are still buying that after seeing the footage.
Yeah.
Babies being ripped out of mothers' hands. Just sending people to South Sudan, it's ridiculous. But we got to wrap up this episode. If you're still listening, appreciate y'all. We got a little treat for y'all to wrap up this episode. A fun one. John, you got this one?
Yeah, for sure. This is out of Westbrook, Maine, via WMTW.
WMTW.
You guys all know WMTW. A police department in Maine has issued a public apology after the agency said it inadvertently shared an image of seized drugs that had been, quote, substantially altered by an artificial intelligence tool.
Damn.
In the comments on Sunday's Facebook post, people said they believed the image was generated with AI because the packaging on the drugs was in gibberish. Quote, "We want to set the record straight. This is not an AI-generated photo." The Westbrook Police Department wrote on Facebook. Quote, "What you see is what was seized by officers during the course of the drug arrest. Is the packaging weird and look like gibberish or a different language? Yes. But that is legitimately what was located and seized by officers. The packaging is most likely foreign, and it is possible that whoever made the packaging used AI to make a clearly knockoff package."
Oh, you reading gibberish? Yeah, it's called foreigners.
Yeah, it's foreign gibberish.
It's called Chinese. That's what we call gibberish in the States.
Quote, "What we seized for packaging is not uncommon for us to seize in drug arrests," the police department added in its statement. Quote, "Illegal drugs and related paraphernalia are manufactured and sold in illicit ways. It is not like going to a reputable store and buying items from a reputable manufacturer. We assure you that Westbrook PD is not and would never generate an AI photo to try and depict evidence that was seized.
That's just something we won't do. All right. We'll use excessive force sometimes if we have to. Shoot a man in the back if he's threatening us.
Yeah.
But plagiarism, that's crossing a line for us.
Yeah, we don't support AI. We know that it's bad for the environment.
It's bad for the environment. You know how many forests we would have had to wipe out to make these beautiful drug bust photos?
we support the environment. We don't want to put copywriters out of work.
Yeah. Our beautiful photographer over here photographing all our wonderful drug busts.
We know the animation industry is upside down right now.
Yeah.
We don't want to contribute to that in any way. All right. Okay. However, the initial post and the follow-up post were deleted from the Westbrook Police Department's Facebook page sometime early Tuesday afternoon.
Uh-oh.
At 12:50 p.m. Tuesday, the police department admitted that the photo it had shared to Facebook earlier was in fact altered. The department also shared the original photo of the seized drugs, which was taken by an officer who was involved in the drug bust. According to police, the officer wanted to add the department's patch to the photo to identify Westbrook as the arresting agency.
Damn.
Yeah. Hey, he just wanted to, he just wanted to watermark it. He just wanted to get some credit.
Yeah. I knew they wouldn't have a stack of cocaine, a pile of cocaine 20 stories high. That did seem a little bit suspicious. The drug bust photos, that is like a topic in of itself, like a comedy topic in of itself. The taking everything, all their little victory, all the little trophies, arranging them on the table, taking a nice photo of it with good lighting. You see the photo, your first instinct is like, oh, all right, someone had a good time this last week, and then you see all the fucking cops standing behind it. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that is funny.
God damn it.
The whole culture around photographing seized drugs.
Yeah, they're posing.
It's like a specific job. I'm a drug seizure photographer.
Exactly. And you're just showing off like how you're contributing nothing. Like the drug war, everyone knows the drug war has failed. It's pointless. People are going to prison. People are still doing drugs. And here's your little photo of like a couple dime bags. Apparently AI boosted as well.
Yeah, the officer used the Photoshop app to insert the patch in the picture and then share
the department logo.
Yeah, the logo, and then shared that image to one of the department's Facebook administrators who posted it to the page. Westbrook Police Captain Steve Goldberg told Nora Hogan of Maine's Total Coverage that the officer used ChatGPT to add the department's patch to the photo.
So I love this. So this is not actually, seemingly, a story about the police using AI to come up with a fake photo to lie to everyone. It's just them using a thing like Photoshop and not realizing that AI has been implemented on it.
Yeah.
And it's actually an extremely relatable story of them being like, wait, we didn't ask for fucking AI. They fucking put AI on this shit? We didn't ask for this shit.
We just wanted to throw the logo in with the drugs.
Yeah.
That was all.
And we just have no skills. And like literally every single one of us at this department is stupid. None of us knew how to put the logo on this photo. So AI was like, all right, we're going to do this shit for you. Here you go. And then just like it's like another story of AI slop. Like it's still like the AI didn't really do anything, added anything to the photo of value. It just AI slopified it. And so if you see the photos, the two photos, like they're pretty much the same, except one has the logo that they wanted, and then just also has just kind of like it mentioned that the letters didn't do anything. It just did nothing. It just added nothing, but made it into AI slop.
Yeah, but was it the Photoshop app or Chat GPT?
It's both? Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like one of those things where like Chat GPT, you ever you do a Google search, and then it's like, here's the AI response, and it's like you didn't even ask for it, but it's like implemented. I'm imagining it's like that. Like if you get the newest version of Photoshop, AI is just in it, and you didn't ask for it, you didn't want it, but here it is.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
also, it's gonna kind of suck.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you'll get your AI results, and it's wrong. It's false.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it
yeah.
was like it is here neatly in front of you.
Well, in all fairness, he wanted to use the Photoshop app because the Adobe products you have to pay for monthly and never own.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
So he's just trying to get some use out of it.
yeah,
You
exactly.
know what I mean?
This
That's
is-
the real scandal here.
Yeah, yeah. And this guy is so mad. He's like, I didn't ask for AI. When I normally use Photoshop and add baggies of cocaine to these innocent people in their photos, I am not using artificial intelligence. I'm using skills that I learned at graphic design school.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
this
yeah.
is why I got into
Yeah,
it, for
yeah.
the art.
I'm using the magnetic lasso tool.
Exactly. Yeah. So actually, very relatable article here
Yeah.
when it comes to the police. Yeah, you want to keep going? I think there's.
Oh yeah, sure. Unbeknownst to anyone, when the app added the patch, it altered the packaging and some of the other attributes on the photograph. None of us caught it or realized it, the Westbrook Police Department said in the follow-up Facebook post. Quote, "We apologize for this oversight. It was never our intent to alter the image of the evidence. We never realized that using a Photoshop app to add our logo would alter a photograph so substantially."
Yeah.
All right, they made a mistake.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just funny.
The lesson here, folks, is just pay your local artists.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. Get a graphic designer in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Learn, or just download Canva, dude. It's not that hard to add a
Yeah,
fucking
learn
add a fucking
Canva.
logo.
Yeah, it's really just like a select all,
Yeah, exactly.
copy,
Yeah.
paste vibe, you know?
Yeah. So we were wrong. Turns out that photo, they actually did save the streets from 2 dime bags of weed, and it was not fake. It was real. Thank you, police. We love you.
Yeah, and if you don't have your logo on there, did it even really happen?
I wouldn't know which officers to thank.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, well, that wraps it up for our main episode this week. But now we will be hopping on the Patreon, so sign up for that if you want to listen to the bonus episode. John, thank you so much.
Yeah, for sure. Can I let people know about stuff?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, plug away.
Amazing. If you want to follow me on social media, it's at JFODLovesYou. That's JFOD loves you on Instagram and TikTok. I got a stand-up special I'd love for y'all to check out. Just type my name, John F. O'Donnell, into YouTube. It should be the first thing that comes up. It's called The Manic Depressive Chocolate Fountain Operator.
Mm-hmm.
And keep an eye out for a new podcast coming out about comedy and mental health called Episodic.
Yes, and check all that shit out. John, he's great. I love John.
Thanks, buddy.
All right.